Just don't put any more. Just chew.
Jesus.
Chew, motherfucker! No, if I didn't keep doing it, it will fall onto my face, and it's very hot.
That's what there's a plate for.
I don't want to fall on the plate. It was either going to go in my face or in my mouth.
I'm sorry, when are you going to stop saying dumb shit?
That's gonna never happen.
This is how you're going to treat pizza when I buy it for you. I'm not going to buy you pizza anymore.
Matthew bleeds dumb bitch juice.
When they cut us, we bleed dumb.
I think someone turned that candle off.
Turn the light off.
Jesus.
You gotta push it really hard. You just do, like, push it, like with your whole fist.
I got it.
What happened last time, friends? Family? Matt?
Wow!
Well,
Matt's poops don't belong in this family.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the mat does.
But he
So we
is
went
the
to
provider.
Halifax, things started getting along, started doing the lands meet. There was a several-hour debate on whether or not we're going to make friends, the Kingdom of Halifax was going to make friends with Shion or not. And then we started the trial on whether or not Our Lady Kadra is a traitor or not.
saved her from an assassination attempt from the.
You're getting ahead of yourself there.
Slow down there, sport.
We still did that.
Yeah.
It was put on hold for a time period so that, because it was agreed upon that Cora would take 5 of the king's trusted knights alone to Arkbridge to verify the story of Amelin Adrixia, who we brought as a character witness for the whole ordeal. And then the statue that the Ifrit brought, gifted to the king, that Cassandra had some rather weird but valid suspicions about, was actually an adamantine golem and a fire giant, and they in tandem tried to assassinate the king. The party managed to save the king from the assassination by shoving him out of the way. Jesus fucking Christ. Just in time. And then combat ensued with the golem and the fire giant. About an hour of combat passed. They both died. The party is victorious. And everything has basically been put on hold. The party is now back at Sunstone Keep currently after having teleported back home while Galahad stayed behind to pack all of our stuff for us so we could deal with the keep stuff. And we have arrived and the air is somber.
Notable things that you missed?
Yeah, there's a few. One, the king has decided that fuck the Ifrits. One, two, there was an adamant, like there was a crown on the fire giant's head or the golem's head. I think it was the giant. That has super strong enchantment magic on it. So, you know, maybe there's other like there's a third layer here that the king's not considering. Also, does the ring dissolve?
Oh yeah.
The ring did dissolve. I'm concerned.
That's probably not a problem.
Didn't we cover that on the last time?
No, because
No,
it
that
didn't
was last
happen
time.
on the last time. It happened last time.
Oh yeah, so it did. Before the proceedings happened, the Ring of Aelin fucking dissolved off Cora's finger, and that's concerning because that means either she's dead, her soul is free, or something really, really, really bad happened.
She also attempted to message Lasara to no avail. So that's where we're at.
That's where we're at, everybody. There was this corner of my soul hoping that would last just ever so slightly longer. So I'm gonna take a big sip of my drink.
I'm gonna take a big old bite in my jaw.
Another bite of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Slice of Rooney saw, bro.
Not to be confused with piss off.
So,
Slice of pizza, Ronnie.
I'm sorry.
we're continuing the game and we're not going to acknowledge it.
No, hang on. What?
No, Haley, no. No. Please.
This way lies madness.
What sins will I commit?
All of them. Most of them toilet related.
Matt off the string.
For
The releasing hour is
when
upon
you
us.
free a Farachi, what you get is a... Oh no. There's a disastrous toilet happening.
The release is upon us. Tattoo is free. What sins will he commit?
question. So, we are at Sunstone Keep. Everyone is kind of in a dour mood.
Mm-hmm.
There's an air of uneasiness.
Everyone's looking all shifty. Pages are there. No one's dead. There's no like the keep is not under fire.
Yep, no deaths have occurred and no siege is underway as we give our DM a few more moments.
No deaths that we know of have
That
occurred.
we know of.
The captain also
certain.
gave a vague and ominous warning that pretty much just said, "Come home," and that was why the party came home.
So the party is home at the keep. You return to a somber air. Everyone is, as I described last time, do not appear to be in the best of spirits. There is just a sullen air about the halls. It's populated. Nobody is dead as far as you know. Nobody you talk to seems to indicate that anything is necessarily disastrously out of the normal. There are no caskets in the courtyard, which would suggest a large number of deaths. It is quiet and cold and uncomfortable.
Does everybody just, what kind of, dejected? Does everybody just look really, really depressed, or does it look like they've seen a ghost?
I mean, I don't know necessarily how different those two things are.
Is it fear, or is it depression?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Cass walks up to the captain and asks, "So you summoned us here? What seems to be the issue?"
He points down the hall. I don't know how everyone's rooms and like bedding and lodging is set up in the keep.
Mm-hmm.
It's never really mattered.
We've never gotten a keep map, but we also haven't needed one yet.
Right. It's down whatever hallway Lasara's bedroom normally would be in.
Cass looks at the captain just like warily and walks down the hallway.
Yeah, I'm following you. If not, I'm lockstep with you right now.
Castor as well, slightly behind.
The captain does not.
Cass is walking ahead. Brisk face, heavy feet, big stompy.
Feet are always heavy.
Big stomping.
They're steel.
Big skippy.
Yes. It almost feels like, or almost sounds like, the steel in her shoes have just gotten denser, and they sound heavier than normal.
Steel to lead, alchemist trick.
Yes.
The closer you get to that room, the worse things feel. There's just a sinking feeling in your heart. It's not urgent. Is she dead? Is she already in a box?
Yeah.
Something is obviously wrong. And there's just this sickly kind of unsettling warmth that occupies this growing void in your chest.
Cass calls out Lasara's name. Not like in a panic, just says her name just normally.
Fuck.
You hear that from across the hallway.
You do not receive a response.
Keeps walking, gets to the door and opens it.
What is present in that room?
You open the door?
Yeah, we just opened the door. Well, Cassandra just did.
There's a fiend standing in there.
Oh, a fiend.
Cora draws her sword.
About 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
The horns that come up probably 3 or 4 more inches. 2 pairs of bat-like wings.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like burgundy red skin.
Yeah.
Did you open the door or did you knock?
I opened the door.
Her back is to you.
Okay.
So you can't make out anything about her face or anything. But you can see that her right arm has got this kind of like clawed gauntlet on it.
Mm-hmm.
That goes along with this like pauldron that is on this black studded armor.
Mm-hmm.
that she has, and the left one is covered by this kind of like sheer, like sleeve material that comes to like these 2 fingers, and you can just barely see that under that material there is a litany of writing in. You speak all the languages, right?
I can.
All of the ones that matter.
There is a litany of infernal writing on the left arm.
I see. What does it say?
Well, when the door opens, she turns around in surprise. Oh, you're back early.
And you shouldn't be here.
I suggest we let this person explain themselves.
Person, have you forgotten what? Don't you know what that is?
Well, considering how they're in Lasara's room, there has to be some reason why they're here. Who are you?
It's my room.
So what?
I'm in ill mood for jokes. You have at most 3 more sentences before I send you back to where you came from painfully.
She turns to face you, and when she does, you can see very clearly on like the center, the chest of this armor that she is wearing, there is a symbol that you 2 probably know very well. It is the symbol of Asmodeus, burned in like a deep red into this material.
Castor has a searing light prepared in his hand, and a confused expression on his face.
Easy, Castor. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to hurt any of you. I have some explaining to do, though, and I thought I'd have more time to prepare myself.
Well, I'd also like to ask, and she like grabs the bayonet. So what did you do? Holding the bayonet that has a portion of Asmodeus' soul in it.
It's not present.
It's not present?
Nope.
I see.
The soul, anyway. The dagger's there.
Silent.
I've made a certain deal that had certain parameters.
Remember last time you made a deal?
I do.
Did you do?
Would you like a full recount of what happened while you were absent, or would you like me to get to the point of this?
Details later.
Keep it simple.
From the moment we left the vault, I have been engaged in a deal of sorts with Asmodeus. A deal that has led me down a certain path.
Clearly.
To do certain things.
So you learned nothing.
I did not learn nothing. I learned everything I needed to.
At the cost of your soul?
If
Again?
If you would let me finish, I could get to it. This deal did in fact condemn my soul to the hells. It is Asmodeus's to claim when I perish. But in exchange, I've been granted a fraction of Asmodeus's power to use as I see fit. And I see fit to use it to combat the darkness that is encroaching upon this plane.
Are there no other caveats to this deal?
The only caveat is that I continue it.
You're a fool, and I thought better of you.
Why am I a fool? Tell me. I'm eager to hear.
You have very clearly learned nothing of your deals, from your other deals with outsiders. They lie. Devils always lie. All that they are is a manifestation of covetous and mischievous, like envy.
Is that all?
I thought I suffered no delusions as to what your thinking was in the vault. But I thought no more lies. I clearly see now that I was a fool to ever trust you!
If you don't believe, by this point, that we need to accept any help that we can get in order to combat Azathoth, then...
I had a plan, goddammit!
I did needed two. And it's going to take more than one plan to battle this. We're going to need all the help we can get. That doesn't mean all the help that Cora Amaran's mind is capable of comprehending. We're already seeking help from other planes.
We needed the soul, Lasara. Don't you understand that? We needed the soul. We needed the soul for the purposes of its power. We didn't need it to. We didn't need the soul to entreat with it, much less invite it to take. And much less invite it home in our bosoms.
Well, thankfully, you haven't done that, so it's not your problem to worry about. Besides, I know there's still a good number of souls in that sword that you can use for whatever you see fit, considering you've had no qualms about doing it thus far. I wonder what Shireen would say about that. Don't talk to me about heatheny! You're a hypocrite, Cora. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for this plane. I have been since I met you. I've done nothing but sacrifice. The deal with Asmodeus didn't change that.
And what after a victory? What happens then? Was that ever laid out, or was that ambiguous?
After the battle, I do as Asmodeus sees fit.
And what makes you think he's not going to use you to conquer the plane for his own selfish deeds?
I can't do anything to prevent that. That doesn't mean you can't.
Caster extinguishes the spell and saves it.
I know what this means. I'm not stupid, no matter what you think.
I never called you stupid. I called you a fool.
That must be one of those subtle drow differences that I haven't learned yet.
I called you short-sighted.
Anyone else?
What's done is done. Caster leaves.
Now, if you want an actual account of everything that happened while you were gone, I'd be happy to give it to you.
Save it. And Cora also walks away.
Cass sits down in the room.
I visited the Plane of Fire.
Considering how you have no burn marks, I would assume that was the case.
I've been promised the support of the ruler of the Plane of Fire.
How did that come to pass?
I bargained with him. An army of some 13,000 strong. That's including the soldiers of their own realm and fire elementals and the type. In return, he wants two things. Three, technically, I suppose. One, he wants a blood price. There's someone he rather dislikes in the plane of water, which didn't come as much of a shock to me. Two, there's an artifact there he would like retrieved. And three, he would like a gate from the plane of fire into the material plane, somewhere in the caldera. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's a certain balance that all of the elements are meant to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
If one element becomes too dominant, it can have disastrous consequences on the rest, and magic can begin to change. Knowing this, I initially was going to refuse the gate, but it seemed as though it was integral to the deal, so I made him an ultimatum. If I notice any kind of shift in this magic, if it seems like fire is seeming to snuff out the rest, I would hunt him down. And when he didn't believe me, I showed him what I can do, and I burned him. So he's afraid of me, which is what I wanted.
I imagine anything made of fire that gets burnt would be afraid of you.
So we have the support of the Plane of Fire.
Now, how did you...
I believe I can use my inroads with Asmodeus to glean some help from other sources.
How did you get in this state, if I may ask? No secrets.
No lies. I went to Ishianor.
Right.
There was something Asmodeus wanted me to carry out there. I did it. But before I did, I learned a lot. I had hoped the other two wouldn't throw quite the fuss that they had, but I suppose that can't be helped. They're of the scripture.
Castor, particularly. You should have known that he would have reacted this way.
I did. There wasn't much I could do about it. The feelings of a friend don't stop the destruction of a plane.
Right.
But Asmodeus sent me there to slay one of my parents.
Sounds like you succeeded.
But before I did, I learned quite a few things, a few interesting things. I know where my doppelganger came from.
Was it from that man that asked for your blood all those months ago?
By extension, yes.
Nah.
I learned of a certain ritual that can be performed. One that can create a copy of a living being. It's rather ghastly. But one of the required components is some of the target's blood, which was retrieved. And since the ritual was successfully carried out by my mother, there was another me, not designed, but intended to help the hole that I left when I left. She became obsessed with being me. She wanted to take my place more literally than they intended her to. And to that end, she sought out to kill me.
What happened to her?
She wasn't there. We know the Drow have her. I assume they still do. The last they knew of her was her leaving the kingdom just like I had. I didn't learn anything about Ifrit involvement with Drow, unfortunately.
Well, it won't matter.
Why is that?
Either by the Drow's hand or by the Ifrit themselves, they attempted to assassinate the king of Halifax.
By what means?
They sent a fire giant in case
The Ifrit sent a fire giant.
the Ifrit had them. Yes.
The Ifrit are not on good terms with the fire giants.
I recognize this, but it still happened. Whether or not those Ifrit were actually Ifrit or they were just under some sort of disguise spell, I don't know. Nothing seemed particularly off about them. They seemed rather convincing. But they sent a fire giant and an adamantine golem, encasing it to make it seem like it was a statue.
Oh, clever.
Indeed.
Well, I suppose it's a good thing I didn't go.
At the end, yes. It is much better that that was the case. But I fear that the least that will happen will be agreements to ally with Halifax are closed, and the worst is that your people will be put into a war that either they started by their own hand or did not mean to happen.
This is going to be a difficult issue to rectify when I take the throne. Well, as Castor said, what's done is done. We have the support of the Plane of Fire. I feel like if I play my cards right, I may be able to haggle something out with the Plane of Water, but that would involve going there, which I abhor. I realize what this means, Cassandra, and I'm sorry for it. But I think you, of all people, understand that we need all the help we can get.
I do. Still is not a shock. Well, still it is still a shock, rather. It is difficult to see your friend's soul be damned for eternity and have physical sight of that.
I damned it for as good a cause as there is. I think one Ifrit for the fate of the plane is a favorable trade.
You're not just one Ifrit, though. whether you might think that or not, whatever, but you're not an average Ifrit, as you've proven.
I suppose that's true. Heroes and sacrifices and all.
Asmodeus won't have your soul forever. I will not allow that.
You may do as you see fit.
I will. And that is to keep my friend from being damned to all eternity. And she gets up and closes the door.
Wait.
Like,
if Cora and Castor will not hear me, have them know of what happened while I was gone.
understood.
And make sure the war room is fully briefed on the exact status of the armies we have at our disposal.
Understood. Please don't burn down the keep with your newfound powers.
Wasn't planning to.
Where did Castor go?
Castor went to his room.
What does Castor do in his room?
Castor is fucking fuming, confused about what to do. His friend is a demon. The Ashianors are probably head. His friend is a devil. Still something he is obligated to abhor. Ashianor is probably going to be involved in a war with the Kingdom of Halifax.
I mean, you do have the only possible solution to that problem sitting a few rooms down the hall.
The issue is that she is now a devil.
She's now not an Ifrit and is also a devil and is probably not a valid claimant to the throne, being that she's no longer who she was. This is another problem Castor has with that.
Still the same person.
I do want to point out, she looked vaguely familiar when she turned around. Her features were a little sharper and more angled. If you had seen her before, you could tell from her face it was still her. Her hair is still white. Her eyes are still yellow.
You still are. You're still not in a freak anymore. That's
Not in a freak, no, but still recognizable as who she was.
She also hasn't been home in a very long time, except unknown to Castor, apparently to kill one of her parents.
The doppelganger was there.
Yeah?
By design, she looks like me.
Castor doesn't know anything about that either.
Oh. So the doppelganger was there. She just lied.
Well,
to
I mean, the doppelganger has been there sooner than I have.
Okay.
Like, they've seen her more recently than me.
Castor's trying to figure out what to do. I was in the middle of messaging you, and then you just got to me. Would the Safek Vault in Ashianor be a kind of place where, we already know it would be the kind of place where you could find information on how souls work, how to move them, and how we could possibly use them in the applications of the soul-eating crystal apple tree. Would it also be the kind of place to figure out where to see about if there were any information on saving people from damnation, people changing races because of damnation, and how to fix that?
Sins are kind of one of those things that stay on your actual permanent record that does exist. Unlike in the real world, where your permanent record's a made-up piece of bullshit that your teachers tell you so that you'll behave in school, Lasara had to do some pretty considerably evil things to arrive at this point. Even if someone did not own her soul, which is also the case, she would still be going to super hell.
Just for the simple fact of the things that she has done, even removed from the fact that someone now has claim on her soul.
So basically, even if there were knowledge on that kind of thing, she's kind of beyond that point now.
There is not... So, you have people like Drolish who just do a lot of bad things. And they do a lot of bad things in part because they don't know any better, and in part because, like, she was just partially possessed by a bad religion. You can ostensibly redeem somebody like that. You cannot necessarily redeem somebody who knows better and does the wrong thing anyway.
Like, knowingly and willingly.
Right. Like, there's no room for repentance with the types of things that have gone on.
Ah.
The types of things, as of now, Caster is still unaware.
Well, not even just those things, but like actively participating in any ritual which makes one into a fiend is like
super sin.
Right.
Plus plus.
Right.
What I'm basically saying is that Cassandra knows one of the things.
There's
more of similar bad.
Your faith also has right answers. Well, they have answers that you can choose to ignore, rather. But this is your God. Literally, like half of their scripture is like, I fought demons and devils at the start of time, so that mortal kind would have a plane to live in.
If any religion would compel you to kill Lasara, it would be Safe's.
Yeah, that's why Caster walked away.
Yep.
There is one thing that is worth noting, and it's how... So you have knights, like Knights in Morning Dew, and they have a very particular subset of the scripture that they follow, rather than just like a more general body. The tenets of these faith, like they're ordered, right? Like if you're forced to violate any one of these rules, it should always be the lowest one on the list possible. The higher stuff on the list must always be upheld. There has never really been a great need for like it to be written down, but the implication does seem to suggest, at least, like there has to be a world to save, right? Or what's the point in counting all the sins of all of mortal kind if there's nothing left? And at least in that way, Lasara is inside the lines, but you would have to A, believe there were no other options, and B, that's a stretch.
These are things that Caster is contemplating. Sat on his bed, door shut. Axe hung on the wall, witherwack to the side.
Cassandra knocks on your door.
Who goes?
Caster, it's me.
Is it horns?
If you do not wish...
alone?
I am alone. If you do not... She enters.
You see Caster sitting on the edge of his bed, tightly gripping his amulet of safe in both hands, basically looking like he's in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I was asked to brief you on what has happened.
By the devil in our house?
Yes, Lasara.
Proceed.
Cassandra recounts what she has been told.
Cassandra still calls her by name. Fuck.
Caster just kind of pinches the bridge of his nose. I get why she did what she did. I get it. It is the only reason I did not strike her down immediately.
I understand.
She had to have some idea of what she was getting into. Please tell me she didn't just dive blindly into a deal with the highest of devils.
She says she understands what she got into.
Does she?
There's no way for me to know.
I find it hard to believe that one who would suffer eternal damnation and service to his highest evil knew what they were getting into.
It's not the first time she's made this mistake. But as you so succinctly put it, what's done is done. There's nothing that can change that now, short of a wish spell, and even then, I don't know how successful that would be.
Likely not very. Sins are things that are counted highly, particularly among her holiness.
I also might want to point out there are some serious ethical concerns regarding that. Because I mean, you're kind of coming up on that where you guys are pretty close to being able to do things like cast wish. Sure, you might be able to change Lysara back into an Ifrit. You might even be able to change her alignment if, like, that was a rule that we honestly stood by very often. But let us think for a moment what that means. You just changed the alignment of a person against their will, their race against their will, and you did it to free them of sins that it's not like they just then uncommitted. Like, they did still... She did still kill her mom. Yeah. Like, that does not become undone.
There is also the tiny facet of it that if you do manage to undo all of those things, it means the atrocities she has committed have been for nothing because she is now back to square one in terms of unholy support.
Yeah. Even if that would work, which in all likelihood it won't, it doesn't change the fact that she did whatever she did to become that. The only thing that has stayed my axe is the fact that we need her. As much as I hate to admit it, we still need her. She's powerful. And now she's got allies. Strong allies. 13,000 men is nothing to sniff at, much less 13,000 warriors from a different plane and elementals of caliber.
Right.
But they won't follow us.
They follow her.
We need her. If we don't have enough allies, it's all gone. It's all gone. The darkness wins, it gets devoured. Garrett's back to square one. Again. For the...
And...
gods know how many times! And we're gone. And who knows that the next planes will have another chance. What if we're the last?
We cannot focus on hypotheticals. They will serve no purpose but then to stall us and make us...
Hypotheticals are all this is. The thing we're fighting is scarcely a concept, much less a being. How do we do this, Cassandra? We've got a plan. We've had a plan. We've been pretending we can fight this like we could fight the drought, but can we really?
There's only one way to find out, Caster. And we have to get there first.
I guess if it's not enough in the end, it won't even matter what she's done, because none of this will exist.
That is one way to look at it.
I'll have to kill her. If somehow, beyond all the politics, all the fighting, all the death and destruction, if after all that we can take down the darkness and bear the weight of our sins that we committed in getting to that point, to stand tall enough to do something about it, I will have to strike her down.
At this moment, Cass, in your head, you receive like a magical kind of message. It's similar to the correspondence you've received from Cora before, but it kind of manifests in the form of like a wave of heat and kind of a visual of fire. And you just hear in your mind, how's Caster taking it? I figured he'd be the toughest to convince. You have 25 words or less.
I only need 2. Not well. I understand, Caster.
No, you don't. I can't even be seen with her. I don't even believe she can stay in this keep any longer. If I am seen cavorting with a devil, that will get me executed for heresy. I'll have the Knights of the Morning Dew knocking down our fucking doorstep.
Cassandra could have said something in very poor taste, but...
All two of them.
You go kick my ass!
All three of them. Here they are, guys.
Hey guys, it's us.
Damn fool of a girl!
I can't say that I disagree with you. But you've already reached the conclusion that we need her.
5d4.
There's nothing that we can do. Now.
Well, we have to figure out something.
So it's a dice force.
I'm not going to allow her soul to be damned forever.
I don't think you're gonna have a choice, Cass. Do you know the kind of things that you have to do to transmutate into a demon? A devil? Either. Both. They're just as bad.
You all look the same to me.
Doesn't much matter at the point when your soul is damned and owned! I wouldn't be able to save her. None of the information in the Saphic vaults would be able to save her.
We have to try.
There's a portion in every single scripture of every god in the fucking pantheon of how the primordials fought Asmodeus and his ilk. Literally half of my own book is about it. We were there. We finished him. And now he's just out cavorting the planescape again. Our friend is a devil. I am morally obligated to obliterate her. She's damned herself. And we're not even entirely what kind of ability it's granted her, if anything. Devils are fickle. Yes, they grant power, sure, but it always comes back to bite in the ass. Who's to say the moment we don't strike down the shadows walking around when we bring it upon our own fucking heads? Which is, a side note, a completely insane idea. That he won't just take its place.
Can I posit something that does occur to you? Devils follow law and order. They are, I mean, that's literally a core element of their being. They have to.
Yeah.
If Lysara could demonstrate
fun there.
to devils that she was put into this position by Asmodeus, assuming that there were still devils that were loyal to Asmodeus in the first place, and there very likely are, she would be able to ask for rather a lot of extra dimensional help.
Wait. The language on her arm, what was it?
Infernal.
Infernal. Not abyssal, infernal.
Infernal.
Suit told you that. Infernal,
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
You could also see it creeping up her neckline, like to where her jaw is.
Mm-hmm.
So she is a devil. We know that. Devils.
They follow a law, don't they? They have to have some sort of structure.
To the exact letter. That's why infernal contracts are renowned for their fine print among those who have the knowledge of those kinds of dealings. Me and mine know that because it's our job to kill their kind. There's more than one story floating around the barracks back in the Sacred Temple about using such contracts, or the promises of signing such contracts, to trick devils into coming out of hiding so they can be smote. They're structured. Demons, they're a completely separate thing. They just do basically what the fuck ever, as long as it results in blood, fire, and breaking things. Devils do the same, but only on orders. She got the fire elementals to follow her. She might, and I'm saying this with a very big maybe. Very powerful maybe, considering she's not even an Ifrit anymore. She might have a claim to the throne of Shi'ar.
She does have some sort of a claim to the throne in the... Was it Abyss, or is it the Hells?
It
The
might be
Hells.
the Hells.
The Hells. Claim to the throne in the Hells.
To the throne of the Hells. Perfect. That leads right into about what I was going to say. She's proven herself a leader and a capable tactician. She's got a strong commanding voice and a fist that can bring it into line. If she can win the support of the devils,
There's a sentence.
I feel sin creeping down my tongue and up my spine as I say it.
Well, then let me just say it for you. They could be an ally.
I hate that it holds truth. You have no idea how much my soul is inflamed that is true. But you're right. She's right. It's help, it's assistance, it's another army that we need if we're going to buy ourselves enough time to deal with the real threat.
You know, we were fools to think that we wouldn't have to fight another war after this one was over.
I thought you knew that exactly. Before we knew that the drow were gonna get taken care of by his shadowness first.
Stop.
You were
put it
planning
out.
on starting another war with them. If we didn't finish it first, on behalf of your allies with the Wood Elves. Which I don't blame you. I don't blame them either.
The drow are still mortals.
And they'll still die, and they'll still go to wherever they've been ordained, where they've earned.
Devils are not that.
No,
They're
they already
mortals.
know where they're going. They don't belong here, but then again, neither do fire elementals. Neither does what's coming. Gods of all places, why did it have to be the fucking material realm? This is the worst possible battleground. Of all the places in the planescape this could have occurred, this is the worst. That makes it a perfect target.
What is Cora doing?
I'm thinking about that. Cora is. I'm assuming Sunstone Keep has a balcony.
Yes.
She's sitting on that balcony.
It has a
and
balcony. We got all manner of dramatic scenery here.
Yeah, she
son.
is sitting on
Is it raining?
on the balcony, and she is holding the Sword of Kos in her hands.
It's about to.
I am sorry that I have failed you.
How did you let that communique slip?
I didn't know what was happening.
Did you not feel him? Did you not feel him, like breaking his bonds?
He's still present here.
What?
I don't know what to say about the rest of the Rune Blades, and what amount of his power has escaped and amalgamated in the rest of the world. I don't know.
But whatever I drew, still remains.
It's possible the other Rune Blades still hold strength. Maybe it's merely Cassandra's that does not. I'm sorry. There's only so much I can do from here.
You did well. Well enough.
Might I posit something to you?
Sure. I might. You're a true friend at this moment.
There are a lot of resources in this world. There are adamantine deposits that sink down into the core. Mithril crops up where the magic grows. As we've adventured and seen, there are places where the ley lines still spit out enough magical energy that mortals are scarcely indistinguishable from fairy tale and folklore. They seem to live in perpetuity.
What's your point, Kos?
this isn't as bad as you think it is.
No, it's plenty bad. It
But
means
not
that
as bad as you think.
it means that I now have to worry about. I now have to worry about I now have to worry about the shadow that will consume the world, and the knife that is aimed at my back.
At least you might get to live. At least you might live long enough to be stabbed in the back.
What a fucking joy that is.
This is a difficult charge, what you have been given, the lot of you. I don't know that we have room for...
If you're going to say something about morality, save it. It's not... I am keenly aware that we need allies. But I am also keenly aware of the fact that some things are bad deals.
Let me ask you this. Do you think she didn't know that?
I have no idea what to think about her anymore. I thought I knew her. I thought I knew that 3 times. I thought I knew that 3 times now. And I've been wrong every single time. So, I don't care anymore.
I had a friend once who had betrayed me. Something of an interesting story, really. So very interesting that it continued to be wrote down for thousands of years. This isn't betrayal. It's a lie, and that's bad, sure. Mortal mothers have been walloping their children with the backs of wooden spoons in perpetuity over, well, lives. But betrayal has a body count.
And it doesn't. You're right. And we just don't know what it is yet. Because when Asmodeus takes the reins from her and uses the body of the most powerful pyromancer I ever knew. And uses that to lay and use of course he can. That's how that deal works.
You were able to single-handedly fight off an incredibly powerful fae. In her own realm, no less. One withering god's soul against your friend.
It's different. When I was in her home, she was not a god. She was powerful. But I did not give her the keys to my soul.
No, you very nearly did, though.
I very nearly did. But that nearly, that's the difference.
I don't know.
She's already gone.
Is she? She doesn't seem any different, aside from changing furniture, I suppose.
Lazara is dead. Of that much I'm certain.
By the same measure, so are you.
No, because I never did anything like that.
Really? You have never done anything for which you were ashamed, or done anything which may have endangered other people's lives or souls?
If you're trying to make some sort of equivalent. I don't have a spotless soul, Cos. I know that. I've killed people who didn't deserve it. I've done horrible things.
Wouldn't you just like to believe that there's someone left in this world that you could claim to be better than?
No, It's not that. It's not an issue of Nobody gets it. It's not an issue of morality. It's not an issue of me being higher and mightier. It's...
So it is childish petulance, then. The soreness of licking your wounds, feeling as though you have been betrayed. That is what bothers you so. And you are willing to condemn your friend to death in your mind.
She has already done that herself.
No, you are choosing to do that.
No, I am not.
She chose to make a decision which you find disagreeable, whether or not you choose to remain affiliated with her, and how you choose.
She chose to revive. She chose to revive one of the most untrustworthy, backstabbing, conniving, evil, powerful beings this side of the Far Realm.
And has a very powerful chance at securing some incredibly strong allies.
For now, I know that.
She's done more for this cause, at least in that regard, than you. You have a powerful blade that you have delayed learning more about because it scares you to do things that perhaps you might have to do, which might make you uncomfortable. She might be foolhardy, but she's a lot more courageous than you.
Can we transition scene for a second?
Sure.
So we'll go back to Cass and Castor. Musings happen, arguments happen. And then Cass just sits back down in her chair and says, "We're all she has now. And whether you... Or you can say that she has Asmodeus, but she doesn't have him.
Oh, she's got his realm. She has the fire elementals. She has a kingdom.
But she doesn't have friends. She has subjects, and what she needs right now are her friends, her family, her real family. If we abandon her now, what's to say that she'll actually betray us in the future? Lasara needs us. Otherwise, who knows what will happen after the war with Azathoth.
We know exactly what will happen after the war with the Shadow. Everyone realizes we fooled them into believing they were going to be fighting the Drow, and instead they realized they were fighting abhorrent monstrosities. We get invaded by the fire elementals. We get invaded by the devils. I kill a friend of mine on moral obligation, and the world probably collapses due to political intrigue. If not from the wars themselves.
That is one possibility, yes. That is a possibility that you are resigning yourself to, Castor.
What alternative do you see, Cassandra? Have you seen how people work? You've been a mayor. How much has that taught you about how people operate? You see the bickering in the streets. Shopkeepers, hagglers, merchants who come and go. Farmers who don't seem to get fair prices. You see how they treat each other, how they stare daggers down each other's backs. You saw how the King of Halifax reacted to the attempted assassination of, by probably, at least as far as they're concerned, the actual Ishianori government.
We aren't them, Castor.
We aren't, but they are. And they outnumber us hundreds to one, just like everything else we've faced.
And we've always overcome those odds, haven't we?
Not yet.
Excuse me? We're still here.
So far.
And we will continue to still be here.
So one can hope. I need to talk with Cora. We need to see if there's some way to disguise what she's become. If I can't end it now, and I will have to end it later, you understand this, we can at least pretend that everything is okay, so that we don't get ended abruptly. So that I don't get ended abruptly. I'm sorry if I seem selfish here, but let's face it, nobody really wants to die. Except crazies. And I don't want all of my friends' comrades, whose friends I led to their deaths, knocking down my keep door, hell, just flying into the courtyard on their fucking spirit griffins, and killing me for heresy, for consorting with the devil. Which would also, mind you, cause a lot of problems with other individuals that we have to work with, such as the King of Halifax, the entire Ishianori kingdom, the Wood Elves, anyone and everyone who would have any kind of hate for her kind.
Lasara did say she would make for a poor knight. She wasn't lying then.
As much as I hate to say it, the King of Halifax proved it. We were at least, and probably are in the eyes of most people who have no idea what happened in that courtyard today, maybe working with probably a drow trader. And then we'll also be cavorting with devils, at least one, who walks among us, consistently, and wields very powerful magic, and leads armies.
Ifrit are devils.
You heard the king himself say it. Ifrit are devils. I don't blame her people for what she did. And the more I think on it, I understand her motives. I don't believe it was the right choice, but it was a choice, and she made it, and we have to live with that fact. So we've got to find some way to see if we can at least disguise her appearance so that I don't have to slay her in public before time. Fantastic. I'm sorry to rant at you.
That's what I'm here for. We're a family.
That's the reason Cass is there and not Lasara.
I'm not going to let this simmer. I can't. Otherwise, Lasara, or you, or any of us might end up dead in the morning one day. It's already almost happened with Drolish. I will say again. She needs us. Now more than ever. We can't turn our back on her.
You know, Cassandra, I hate it when you're right.
I do too.
I'm gonna move to a different scene now. Is that okay?
But that was the end of the scene anyway.
So over the next while, like while most of this is happening, while everyone is brooding, Galahad does return to the keep.
Oh, we're talking like days later?
No, this is like
hours.
Like not even then. Like it's basically
Like while these conversations took place, Galahad comes back.
and just kind of like unceremoniously drops a ton of luggage in the war room. Like, yep,
I brought it back.
you can sort this shit out yourself. And just kind of like walks around the keep with their staff. There's, from Galahad's perspective, there are a lot of, oh, hold on. Can
Pizza
somebody
time.
get my mom and tell her that the roast is, I think, roasted?
Yeah, so the roast just finished on the timer.
Roast!
There's one more conversation I would like to host. Not host, there's a conversation I'd like to have. I was making sure days hadn't passed because of that.
No, yeah. No, we're in, this is all...
We're in seconds creeping by dreadfully mode.
Yes. Lasara's okay!
Lasara's alive! We don't even have to have a new character.
I gotta tell you, holding on to this as a dungeon master for as long as I have held on to this.
This has been like 5 or 6 months in the making, I think. Maybe.
Good God.
This has been since we left the vault real time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, even before that.
A little,
We,
yeah.
we were planning it a little before that, and then that happened.
And then that was the opportunity that presented itself for this to start.
Originally, I was going to have her become something else, but Amy introduced me to a different and more thematically fitting apotheosis. I think I was going to make her become a lich.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we had recently encountered the Wicker Witch.
Guess would really have to kill you then.
How is a lich
Well,
worse than
How's a
devil?
lich worse than a devil?
You got
In
me
the
there.
eyes of Safe.
Either way, I'm gonna have
If
to.
anything, it'd be Cora, just because Cora doesn't like liches.
Koss would be very insistent.
Yeah, I wouldn't get Koss fucking mouthing off at me.
Yeah, no. Koss would be like, you know what, like, I just fucking stick her in
Koss-
in your sleep. Just
I'm gonna meet her real with you. Koss said some backhanded shit that if I had said, I'd be dead right now.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, glad it wasn't me. I
Oh.
called her a hypocrite and I thought I was about to die.
I mean, what's she gonna do to Koss?
What's she gonna do? Break the sword?
Shows you I'm gonna let all the souls go.
Just chucks it. Just
Oh
throws it
yeah,
off the
yeah,
balcony.
really?
oh,
It's like
all
Pandora's
sauce
box opening.
Anyway, what's going on?
Shit.
Galahad returned was the last thing that happened.
You asked me that, but I put some more.
That is a very
Gee.
poor timing on my part. I apologize.
It's because you work at a restaurant, Matthew.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's
Please
an
don't
instinct.
talk to me.
That's
How
an,
is all the food? Thank you.
that's an instinct that you have as someone who works at a restaurant. They're chewing. Now, go.
Yeah, we do. We have training sessions in the back where we're just like, it's like a dropping out of an aircraft carrier, or not an aircraft carrier.
He's doing. Go.
Just dropping.
Green
out
light, go.
plane. Yeah, just exactly like that.
Alright, we're good. I think.
So from Galahad's perspective, the entire world is these kind of like very tightly held together, like, you know, like puppet strings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that.
Like when Neo could see, not when he was in the Matrix and he had that weird vision.
Oh yeah.
It's
like
like
that, but threads.
the entire world is just these vague, translucent threads and solid blackness. It would be like if you rendered the entire world in wireframe.
Okay. Everything is line art.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And like it's kind of hazy too, but that's what they're looking at. And as they kind of like scan around the keep, like they see through walls. You know, they can see people behind walls.
Walls don't have a fate.
They can also see like all of these separating kind of like overlapped, hazed realities. And after they return to the keep, they sit there for a moment, and they're just kind of like, you know, mentally chewing on something. And they begin walking down the hall past everyone's rooms to Lasara's room, and just kind of like knocks on the door with the staff.
Lasara opens it.
Hello.
You're back as well?
I am. I definitely am.
I take it things didn't go well at the Lands meet if everyone's back so soon.
Considering this family, they went about as well as they normally do.
Great.
But they didn't go as bad as we thought it would, so there is that.
Well, that's something. I heard there was an assassination attempt on the king. Was that not as bad as you thought?
I mean, he didn't die.
You got me there.
I am a bit of an absolutist in that as long as bad things aren't happening, things have to be mostly okay.
That's an admirable point of view. One that I wish perhaps some of the
You
people
made a
in this-
smart decision not coming, considering.
Yeah, I definitely think I did.
Yes.
Not only because of what the Ifrit did, but I think if I had gone to that ceremony, whether I was knighted or not, I would have been stuck out.
Not any more than my mother, but, well, maybe a bit more. But not by much.
Well, considering this, I'm glad I didn't get knighted.
You're not dead. So that's admirable. How did that happen between the two priests that you keep in your midst?
More so than priests, they're friends, I hope. I like to believe they saw through what was physically in front of them to what mentally had gone into it. I tried my best to explain, but you know, reason is hard to get across when people are upset with you. I hope they're able to come to the same realization that I feel as though Cassandra's come to.
There is an unfortunate reality to the nature of these situations in that no matter how hard they try and think ahead, and no matter how hard they try and do the right thing, they are mortals and they will die. And the things that matter to them are those things which are in front of them. Though that is no longer the case with you, I suspect. And that is a reality I think you are going to have to continue to learn to live with, and it is one that I don't have anyone that I can talk to about it. They are going to die. Not today or tomorrow or any time in the next several decades, one might hope.
Hopefully.
But without intervention, they will expire. The inverse is true for us. We are only going to die if someone ordains it to be so. And that is very hard, considering I am not a wimp.
I don't suppose I am either.
No. No, you are not. And you're not an idiot either. Though I can't necessarily say I would have done the same in your own shoes.
I don't suspect many people would have.
But I have gone my own path in direct defiance of perhaps one of the plane's strongest spellcasters. I am a druid instead of a wizard, you see. I don't know what kind of virtues you practice, but patience is probably going to be one that would serve you well for a very long time.
Patience is something I've been steadily trying to cultivate over the past year. To, I think, a remarkable degree of success, considering how insolent I was when I met them.
I have expunged a number of memories. There are things that I would like to not think about.
I know the feeling.
An unfortunate side effect is that a vast majority of my childhood, of which I am still living presently, though it may not so feel like it anymore, that are blank to me.
Older than your years. I know the feeling.
I'm sure you do.
Quite literally.
Cora's not going to kill you,
I hope not.
but she's going to be very mad.
I figured as much. I considered both her and Caster's beliefs at the time I agreed to this. As I told them, it's the feelings of a friend over the fate of a plane. And as valuable as my friends are to me, I know which is more valuable. I think they do too.
Yes. The people you have in your tow have commendable moral compasses. And that is infuriating as well.
I've experienced this, yes. On a lighter note, I've secured support from the Plane of Fire.
Oh, most excellent. I can't wait to clean that up.
When are you gonna do War is Hell?
least I'll be employed. Have a good day, Lasara.
You too.
Try not to eat any children and, give widows nightmares and whatever else devils do.
Ah, that's a shame. Creeping in the darkest corners of children's rooms had become a valuable pastime of mine.
There's a moment where, they wear a blindfold, but you can see their cheeks, do a squint motion, and if this was played from their perspective, they are reading as many threads as they can. Please tell me she's not stalking children's rooms.
It's a joke, Galahad. I don't suppose I've cultivated an excellent amount of trust. Perhaps now is the worst time.
Oh, don't worry. I don't trust anyone.
Well, then it doesn't sting as bad.
Have a lovely day, and that I do mean in earnest.
To you as well. Would you mind telling Cora I'd like to speak with her when she's finished
Are you
processing?
sure?
When she's finished processing things. Tell her to take as much time
Cora's
as she would
still
like.
not over her dead mom. That could be a few centuries. But I'll let her have a memo.
Thank you.
Galahad gives you a memo.
It's just a small slip of paper.
Just slides under the door.
It's we magic casters out here still using conventional means.
It's just scribbles, but it
Well,
plays a
Galahad
message
sure
in your
isn't.
head.
Fuck a spell slot.
Galahad did not learn to write.
That's
Oh.
true. We never taught
I
Galahad
did-
to write.
I did
He's blind,
teach
it
them
wouldn't
to
serve him.
write.
Taught him to
Not
read.
while blind.
Not while blind.
Also, I don't even think we taught them to write. We taught them to read.
No, I taught them how to read, write, and speak Elvish.
Oh, well. Not while they were blind.
As if being blind just completely negates the fact that he learned Elvish. Just can't speak Elvish anymore.
No, you can speak it. Just
Not blind.
Matt, close your eyes. Write me an essay. Report back.
That's more what I meant. Is that they might know the motions, but writing while blind is
very
fucking-
difficult.
yeah,
I've tried
hard.
it.
But so they just what? They just come up to me and just say, "Lasara wants to see you" or whatever.
Whenever your immense and considerable frustrations are no longer putting a mull on your mood, Lasara would like to speak with you.
In the war room. I forgot to say that in character, but in the war room is where we're going.
Well, it's clear that, she clearly doesn't give a shit about anything that I think. So I might as well just go see her now.
Are you sure that that is the best mental state to be in?
What other mental state could I be in? I'm sorry, I shouldn't snap at you. I've not had a good day.
No, by all means.
I never got the chance to say it. Are you leaving soon?
And they look at a watch they don't have. I have received news that I am going to be dealing with a druidic clusterfuck over the next several months. So I am
Hang on,
likely
what?
to be here for a while.
Really?
Yeah. Work paged me.
You got a memo from the boss.
You got a fax.
Yes, sir!
Well, whenever there's a better moment.
There are no better moments. There's never a good time. There's never enough time.
No, there isn't.
So we take the moments we have, and we make them as precious as we can, until we die. Though, for me, it's everything but that last part.
With luck, you won't be alone in that.
Well, I'm not holding my breath, not at this rate. Would you care for a hug? Galahad hugs you.
And she hugs them. But might as well go deal with this. If there are still plenty of empty rooms in this castle, any one of them is yours.
I know.
I figured you didn't.
No one was going to stop me from laying in whatever bed I chose to lie in.
I didn't figure. It still felt like a polite thing to say.
Do you know what my species is normally doing right now?
Amassing a giant horde.
At my age right now, I would be amassing several thousands of gold pieces and employing a number of kobolds, such that I would have a pile of gold to sit upon and then sleep for decades or centuries at a time.
If it would make you feel better, there's probably a treasury around here somewhere.
No. No, it does not make me feel better.
Well, I better go deal with this then.
Yep. That you should. See to it that when this is over, you still have friends, yeah? I can't be the only person you talk to forever.
I'll have to do my best to see to it that even after we kill the greatest threat that our world has ever faced, that we'll be ready for the next one that will be coming very soon.
But hopefully that'll be the war to end all wars, and mortal greed will evaporate overnight, and everything will be okay when it's all over, right? Or, at the very least, we will live in a world where we can fantasize about eradicating mortal greed, pride, wrath, lust, gluttony,
I'm
etc.
settling for being alive.
Well, I am glad. That's progress. You know what that is? That's growth.
The child said to their parent.
Oh, gods above.
They tap their hand, like, with the staff as kind of a party trick, and hand you a bouquet of flowers. For your cheery temperament.
She will take the flowers.
As you take them, they rot. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me try that again. For your cheery temperament.
Are you sure you don't want a position as some sort of jester or a stage magician?
Do they also rot?
That one changes to a different species of flower as you hold it in your hand.
Does it constantly change?
No, just to like from one to another.
Okay.
That's a nice trick.
And then it wilts in your hand.
Oh.
Here.
Cora
This-
is a fool, turn note over. Cora is a fool, turn note over. Cora is
This one is for you. And it is a black rose and is handed to you.
for your actual temperament.
Oh. Ouch.
I'm glad you remembered my favorite flower.
Yeah, how could I forget my edgy mother's favorite things? It's not like my own tastes are any better. Anyways, you go and try and have friends and pretend like you're a normal person even though you so obviously are not, Miss High and Mighty Morality. I am going to go and sleep. You'll find out where later.
See you around, Galahad.
Or it's the
Oh,
kitchen.
I know you will.
It's just the middle of the fucking garden.
They actually just cast invisibility and sleep there.
Just on
They
top
take
of
my
a bush.
room.
It looks like plane shift, but they just...
Okay. And Cora walks to the wardroom.
At some point, a page would have delivered a memo to... Do the pages respond differently to me?
I can't have these people continue being a thing. Like, they were a funny joke, but now they're...
Now we just have pages. We do not have the pages.
Right, I'm just stuck with them now.
At some point, a page, not capital, lowercase,
One
page.
of the
children's that follows in Castor's lead to knighthood is like, yeah, sure, you got it, Chief.
You also receive a memo to meet
100%
her in the war
jabroni.
room, and since you're there still, I imagine you would get it too.
Yeah. Castor gets it in his room. What is...
Did you fucking break the chip clip?
Congratulations, Matt. You're just one big, fat, smelly pee-pee of a person.
Oh wow, you're an even bigger fiend than I am.
Wow, you broke it. Oof. Oof. Chip clip eliminated. Typo in the group chat? Giddy ass!
Get his ass!
Giddy ass.
Oh my god.
Can you get me some pizza and some insulin? And put ice in my glass? 'Cause
A slice of Ronies.
I have to pee super bad. We did it, guys!
I've just
So guys, I've got good news. Lasara's not dead.
Tyler and I just pulled the long con.
I love having shit shoveled through my mouth.
Good God.
Do you...
We put Haley through the fucking ringer at work.
They did. It was funny.
shovel coal into that misery locomotive?
And the best part was that if you had combined some of Haley's ideas, you'd be right. Because she had the pieces, just didn't put them together right.
The worst part of all of this is, like... A Frieder Devils.
Yeah.
Lasara surely has the plane's best, like...
That was something Haley said to Amy in the car.
Like, Lasara's a good person. We had
about that.
We had the whole no more lies conversation.
She may not think she's a hero, but she is. That's another thing. And my favorite thing was that at work, Haley said, if she did it because she felt she had no other choice and she did it for the sake of the plane, then I suppose that's not as bad. And I was just like, little do you know.
Oh, ho,
Beep, ba, 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 da, ba. So we will wait.
2-inch putt to the left and you're in the hole there.
Smidgen to the left. You missed the hole by this much. It did the little spin on the hole and came off.
Fuck that,
I
dude.
fucking hate that. Like, legit ass in golf or mini golf. I fucking hate it when it does that.
I didn't know I'd get a real visceral response to mini golf trifles.
That shit does suck. That shit hurted.
So, fuck, I have to wait for Amy.
Yeah.
Piss!
You stay back, you fucking shitty asshole.
Sorry.
Gizmo likes to poop and then not cover it up. It's like if Matt was a cat. Ah, yes, you shall enjoy this, the world.
So, in the war room, as everyone arrives, Lasara's waiting for them. She got there first.
You were too proud of that.
Do you have any response upon entering?
Castor storms in.
Oh, you're blocking.
Sorry.
Sorry.
cleaves in. Castor storms in, throws the crumpled note on the table, slams his hands down on the war room, and is making a point not to look at you. What do you want?
Well, I was going to wait for everyone.
I'm already here.
Oh.
Wow, that's creepy.
You have quieter footsteps than I remember, Cora. Maybe I'm just too loud.
It also could
Elven
just
grace.
It could be a combination of the both of us. My feet are literally iron.
Oh, hi, Cass.
I was with you.
Castor just walked so fast through the halls that he thought he left Cassandra behind.
Perception.
Yes. Perception has never been Castor's strong suit. Let the record actually fucking show.
Castor took an anger penalty to perception of -20.
Fuck, I forgot my insulin.
So with everyone here, Lasara just kind of like folds her hands on the table, and her tail kind of like flicks disdainfully. I thought, in the spirit of earnestness, and with the perhaps foolhardy hope of settling this amicably.
Well, on the same day, that might be foolhardy, yes.
Well, I would rather ask that you consider the things I say here rather than take them at face value now and let them sit, which is why I'd rather say them sooner than later.
I'm listening.
Are you, Castor?
Speak.
I'm listening for whatever good it will do. Though, you should know, I find it incredibly difficult to trust even a single word out of your mouth.
That's understandable.
But you'll trust the blade that slew thousands.
You've never lied to me.
Was that the sword?
Yeah, sure I didn't.
Was that the sword that possessed you in the temple without your permission?
It has never lied. That is not an untrue thing.
Right.
What? No, it literally hasn't.
I wanted to make a few things clear. And I wanted to share my own thoughts about things. I never aim to rub this in anyone's faces. I don't revel in what I've done. I saw it as a necessary evil, perhaps, for securing the safety of the plane. I truly, genuinely believe that we need all the help we can get. And I also knew that with two people of the scripture and the mayor of a town in our midst who probably has the noblest soul I've known, and I was raised in a court, I would have to be the one to do this. I have received instruction about what to do going forward,
From who?
and to my knowledge, none of it should interfere with any of the plans that we have.
Answer the question.
Who do you think?
It's quite obvious who.
So we're going to be following the Lord of Evil's orders now. That what we're doing?
Not us.
Not you. I am.
In no uncertain terms, what is your contract?
I've received specific instructions going forward about what I am to do. Although it may seem abhorrent to you.
Get to the bloody point.
This is me, Tyler, the person trying to stall for time while I ask Amy a question. I'm sorry.
Okay. This is like I had to be like, wait, hold on.
I had to verify. I had to make sure. Okay. Okay, alright. I'm making sure. I'm verifying. My phone's loading very slowly. This is the best time for it.
Existence is just on pause for the moment.
Yeah. This is like the moment in a movie when time is clearly passing at like a semi-normal speed, but it still looks like a character is thinking to themselves and time is slow somehow.
It's the dinner scene in Hereditary.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it has
honestly.
comparable levels of tension, yes. I've been instructed that I'm to resurrect him. And that's it.
And this will occur when?
I don't know. I have to ordain the circumstances that would bring it about.
Those being?
Likely the sacrifice of a number of bodies, among other things.
Where along the timeline in our war is this probably gonna fall?
It's difficult to say. It will certainly take place before the enemy is arisen, especially considering we have most of the control over when that is, considering the elimination of the temples is our top priority.
Has he left you to your own devices, or is he constantly spying on you the whole time?
What do you think?
I'm asking Lasara.
I
No
am in
point.
constant communique with him.
Constantly.
To my knowledge, that does not necessarily mean he sees through my eyes and hears through my ears.
No, you're just. Of course he does. You're carrying him.
I never said he wasn't, I said to my knowledge. But I thought I'd share this with you because I know your greatest concern is the plane, and that does not just take this war into consideration. I'm telling you this now, as I said, in the spirit of earnestness, and I would suggest you mull it over. As other than that, I've not been given any instruction, and I'm left to assume that the power I have gleaned now, and the power that will be gleaned when he is resurrected, is mine to use, as long as it does not
No, it's.
commit anathema to him.
What have you gained?
a number of magical talents that were previously barred to me before. Considering the fractured existence of magic and how my capabilities previously were limited, I can perform a number of things I couldn't before. For example, the telekinetic message I sent you prior.
I see.
I've gained this fiendish form, which has in itself come with its own merits.
Can you disguise it?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Oh, wonderful.
I was hoping you would have an idea, Cora.
Well, miss, I traded my soul for miraculous power. Can you do something as simple as cast a second sphere spell?
You do not need the very blatant hostility. This is only...
Cass, shove it.
I said the spirit of amicability.
Answer the question.
What second sphere spell would that be?
Disguising yourself. What else would it be? Summon lollipops?
To what end?
So that I don't get seen in public with you and have to cut off your head before I'm executed for heresy, if not worse, or sooner. We can't be seen cavorting with a devil. You have to understand that. Noble you are, you know how fucking people are. We do still have armies to lead. Mortal armies.
Mortals who fear you.
I know who can disguise me.
Please share.
Oh my gods.
Ravix. It was by Ravix's hand, actually, that I was able to infiltrate Nishianor.
Well, of course the dragon helped you.
I'm not lying anymore.
Illusory Disguise is a first level arcane and occult spell that has different effects depending on whether it is heightened to second or third level.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Have him get away.
I think the second level version of it is the one I would need, because that would disguise, like... That would be the one that fully disguised. I was looking at Illusory Disguise.
So let me just make sure I've got everything straight. Just collect it neatly in my little notebook, yeah?
Go on.
So, the Lord of Evil is living in your body, and is watching our every move, and is in constant communication with you. Okay.
He is in constant communication with me, yes.
Yeah, big upgrade from where you were about a year ago, by the way.
I would say so, yes.
And your charge is to resurrect him, which would be probably one of the most bloodiest scenes of sacrifice. This, seen on the material plane since the end of the Union.
He desires a physical form again, yes.
The one that we personally went to destroy, the one that my mentor died for again. Class act, by the way, going behind my back. I knew you never believed what I meant, what I said in that vault. And you went and found a way to just do what you want to do anyway. Good going.
Do you think
really
I wanted to do this?
I don't care.
That seems rather childish of you.
Better the devil you know than the one you don't.
And this is going to be before Azathoth is dealt with. Before that.
Yes.
So that we have, when the entire world is exhausted from fighting the largest threat in existence, there's going to be an invasion by the forces of hell to deal with you as their leader. What you want doesn't matter after he's back. What don't you get about that?
Oh shit.
Has
Sorry.
he told you what he actually does want when he's back?
He's not. But I am left to believe that the powers that has been granted to me is mine to use under his will.
I didn't ask about what you could do.
Do you not think that's important? Considering the foe we might be facing?
It's certainly important.
When as a
And
thought
it's the
arises,
reason
do
I'm
you think you might
tolerating your
consider
existence.
what I can do?
It is as Castor says.
You're not dead, because I know we need you. What you carry, what you can do, who you can lead. I asked if you have any idea on what his plans are once you return his physicality and open a portal for him to invade. By giving him one.
I have no idea.
There were no
And-
terms about it in your contract?
None of this ever rang any
Of course
alarm
not.
bells to you, by the way.
Oh
She's
no,
not-
I believe that it rang alarm bells.
I
You're not
believe I
stupid,
have
Lazara. A fool, maybe, but you're not an idiot.
I believe I have a keen enough judgment to know when something has drawbacks. In this case, I believe the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. The allies we may potentially gain and the power that I can hold will be a great boon to us in this war.
What the devil, are you?
Lazara,
Caster?
I'm going to be open and honest with you, as you have been open and honest with us, as far as we know, for the last several minutes.
We're gonna have to put a pin in this tap. The fryer is beeping again.
I'll go get her.
Super fucking cool.
Beep.
Where were we?
Well, we're gonna have to wait for Robin to come through.
Dinner scene at Hereditary.
Yeah.
You haven't even seen Hereditary.
He's talking to me.
Oh.
She won't watch it because she's scared of horror movies.
This is true. You missed in chat the other day. They were all talking about watching movies, and like a couple of the listed ones were like thriller and horror films, and I was like, A, I'm tired, and B, I don't want to watch any horror movies because they make me cry. So.
And Haley, I think, just hasn't seen it.
Nah, I mean, I saw the first third of it.
Yeah, you were there for like the beginning of it.
I saw the thing.
Welcome to our movie podcast where we talk about movies we like.
Let's just go ahead.
What were you saying?
You've been honest and open with us, as far as we know,
I will
for the
continue
last
to be.
several minutes. I will be open and honest with you, in no uncertain terms. Due to what you have done, what you've become, and the obligations I am held to, once the shadow is dealt with, I will kill you.
If you weren't going to, I was.
Is that all?
No, you weren't.
Pardon?
This is not what we need to be speaking of right now.
If they feel the need to, then it is, Cassandra. Is that all?
Disguise yourself with Ravix. We can continue to work together.
Did you all have any more questions for me?
No.
The kingdom will be in a fractured state when we return to Ishianor. When I return.
What do you mean when you return?
She's going to claim the throne.
As was ordained.
It's not like this is something new.
Oh.
She disguises herself.
No,
and
she
looks like
thinks
me.
that she can do it with June. She's already done that.
No one knows what I did. No one except you three.
Don't you get it? What happened at the Lands meet has already damning enough. I was going to try and bust my ass to work on to try and find any sort of proof that it was the Drow holding a knife to their throats, that they were coerced to do that. If you take the throne as you are, you will be not only a foe to the human kingdoms,
Cora.
you will be an eternal shame upon the entirety of Ashianor, and you ought to know better. So reconsider your plans. You already threw in your lot with the outsiders,
Cora.
so there's your army.
You going to turn down an army?
Once she's disguised herself back as an Ifrit, she'll be able to take the throne just as we previously planned. We can use the army to find the shadow, and after that, what happens, happens. It's an ally we can't turn down. We can afford no losses. Not yet.
I know.
Do you think I would have made a deal like this so that I could break even?
I don't know. I know that you probably thought this was necessary. That you thought this was something that needed to happen so that the plane would live. What you don't know is that by your actions, you have made it so that there are now 2 dooms hanging over our world. And I will be the one.
Cost begins to rattle.
And I will be the one who has to sort out the second one, as well as the first.
Is it audible?
Yes.
What is that?
It's the sword.
Is it a problem?
No.
Does it have something to say?
I was full of things to say earlier, so go ahead. And she pulls it out.
Koss projects himself from the sword.
Oh.
There is an aberration of a Death Knight in the war room.
So you do look like that.
He stands. Remember, the record shows that he was a human man. A full 7 feet tall, clad in like jagged plate mail.
By the gods, you were a big fucker.
Yes, that I was. I'm glad to see that mankind has not fallen so far from the graces of my titanic stature.
You're swole as fuck, bro.
You too, bro.
Is this... Alright, there's something that Cass wants to do, being as... so paranoid as always. Where the fuck are
Check for Grix.
No, check
Where is he?
Am I
Where's the hole? Where's the hole? Where's the hole? I filled one in. There's another one. Where it is?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're okay.
She does want to make
whose idea was that?
She does want to make a perception check, not to see if Grix is there, but to see if anyone is watching. Because this is a pretty damning scene.
It is.
Well, it's not like anyone else in the keep could be any more aware that she was a devil.
Yeah, but then now there's also the apparition of Koss
Oh no!
standing.
I mean,
2 bads.
I mean, Koss wasn't.
As if the one bad that already existed wasn't bad enough. Now we have 2 bads.
I mean, Koss was instrumental in Vecna's death. He'd be.
Wasn't he like an anti-hero?
Yeah, kind of.
Koss slaughtered tens
yeah,
of thousands of people.
That's why I said kinda. He was super a bad guy, but he did kill Vecna.
Vecna then...
Oh, so you're going with the argument of, I mean, Hitler did some pretty bad things, but he did kill Hitler.
Well,
Kinda. A little bit.
What did happen is that Koss was eventually betrayed by his master, and he was one of the people who was part of the party that eventually did kill Vecna.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not. It's a bad thing. It's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
That would be 32.
And you're seeing if anyone is here.
Seeing if anyone is here eavesdropping, spying, anything of that nature.
You do not notice anyone.
Oh. Okay. That is all. That's all she really wanted.
Continue.
You're really going to sit here and make more trouble than you need to.
I'm just stating in no uncertain terms what's going to happen and what by her actions the rest of us now have to deal with. I'm not turning down her help. I'm not attempting to kill her. I am unhappy with having another great big mess to clean up.
I'm sure now you know what everyone else feels like wherever we go.
I suppose you're right.
Was that all that you had to say?
No, it isn't.
Then the floor is yours. With that entrance.
armies. Numbers, soldiers. We need a way to replenish them. Healers, necromancers, which we have so lovingly employed already.
Yeah.
I don't understand your moral compass. I understand. He's a priest. He has been all his life. He does not know any better. And he hasn't had to fight a real war. Neither of you. But you're not a priest by birth. She's not a monster. She's an asset.
I know that.
And she's your friend.
She's still Sarah. She just happens to have horns now.
And it's not like you don't already keep people in your employ with tails and horns and claws.
Dragons are not devils.
No, they aren't. But there's not a very big difference between the two. The only reason that Vecna rose to power in the first place was because he was instrumental in the dragon hunts of the Second Era. An evil that threatened to swallow the world. Vecna saved them. And they put faith in him.
And then Vecna betrayed the trust that the entirety of the world put into him.
And betrayed me.
And betrayed you. So you can understand. So, if you can't draw any parallels...
Yes, but here is something I would like you to consider. You do not wake up each morning and pray to Vecna, do you?
No.
No, you do not. Decent souls, or those with a considerable amount of conviction, will always topple people like Vecna.
It's a cycle.
Not always. It breaks. Occasionally. Vecna is gone, and no one took his place when he died.
At least until Aelin was born.
Yes, but Aelin did not fill a vacuum that Vecna left behind. Aelin was manufactured for a new world's evil. She is her own entity. A world bereft of purpose will find itself with a common enemy. The peace can't last forever.
What is your... What?
Take advantage of the sword is my point. Take advantage of the sword and stop fighting with your friends. They're not going to be the ones that stab you in the back.
No, she wouldn't. But what lives inside her will.
And you'll be there. You three. You've already stuck your blades in the backs of gods. What is one? One miserable little devil.
Lasara needs us. I told this to Castor. I'll tell it to you. Now more than ever, we can't turn our back on her. Threatening to kill her.
I didn't threaten.
You promised. Promising to kill her is not what we need to be doing right now. What we need to do is to work together. She may have made a bad decision. She has made a bad decision. In her eyes, no, but to us, yes. It happened.
Roast time.
I'm not saying that I would refuse to work with her. I'm not saying that I refuse to take advantage of her allies on the plane of fire.
You're refusing to be her friend when she needs one.
Cassandra, if I lied to you at nearly every turn For the past year and a half?
What would you have done? You keep your own secrets and lies, vampire.
Castor shoots up. I'm sorry.
Ah,
You what?
so a lie.
I suppose I did lie to you about that.
Your teeth, Cora.
You were the last one.
Your teeth!
I have been hiding it since. I have been trying to manage it and trying to cure it for the past long time. Ever since the temple. Castor, I was literally going to tell you.
This is absolutely fantastic. Of course, the priest would be the last one to know of the things that he could maybe save his friends from if he had any idea or indication of it to be able to catch it early. You're a vampire, turns to Lysara. You're a devil, turns to Kas. You're fucking undead. We're employing a necromancer. What else do I need to know? Lysara stole the fucking heart of Vecna?
Oh, did you not tell him
Yeah,
that yet?
no, that also happened.
God!
That was your idea, Cora.
No, it was.
I would also.
Not telling him certainly was.
I would point out that I'm not undead. I am just dead.
I fully intended to tell Castor it was your decision not to.
I was trying to find a way to say it.
Now let's think about something for a moment.
Are you done stirring shit?
No, I'm not. You're going to listen, because that's all I ever do, is I sit and wait and listen. I used to command troops, tens of thousands, as we marauded across the material plane. Now I sit in a sword all day. So I'm going to talk.
By all means.
She lied to you. And so did she. And yet at every critical moment when it has mattered, when your lives were on the line, even in spite of how long this lie has percolated, she has saved your life. Everyone's life. Not just Cora. Zara has saved everyone here at least once. The same goes for Cora. A lie is not the same as betrayal, is my point. So you can keep your hypocrisy to yourself, because while I did not display many virtues in life, I did display one which has survived as my legacy and my downfall. Loyalty. So I know what betrayal looks like when I see it. And this isn't it. So act like it.
You good?
I'm going to keep sitting at the table if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Thank you, goddess.
He takes off his skull helmet and sets it to his side on the table.
This thing is mad uncomfortable.
I've never had the chance to actually take it off. I've been so cooped up in the sword. It's quite stuffy in there, you see.
Kas has the hair that comes down to about here. He's just got straight hair. It's impossible to tell what color his hair or eyes are though, because he's just kind of a blue translucent color.
It's like Caspian from Narnia.
He has very sharp features.
So regarding next steps, we're going to employ the help of Bravix to disguise me so that my taking of the throne in Yashianor is not met with too much backlash, although my reputation there at the moment isn't excellent.
It's probably best that we... You're going to be wrapped up in a lot of duties if you do take the throne. We should probably try and find the rest of these temples. I recognize we can't deal with all of them, but it would be difficult for you to have... It would be difficult for you to hold a throne without people that you trusted. and also be assisting us in dealing with that problem, which I assume you still plan to.
Of course, I'm still here to help. Were it not for the Drow's meddling in Ifrit affairs and how it tied them to Halifax, this wouldn't have been as big of an issue as it is now. If it were down singularly to the people of Ishianor, I don't fully know how much they'd care that a fiend sat on their throne. But we have more politics than just Ishianor's to consider now.
It would be bad optics for your entire country for the rest of the world.
It would definitely make Ishianor a prime target of Halifax's, especially considering what happened at the Landsmeet.
It's gonna be a hard-fought battle to get them on our side again, especially if we side with Shianor.
You got something to say, Amy? Are you high-chewing? High-chewing it up.
High-chewing it up.
That's not a low-chew, that's high-chew.
Sounds like a really weird off-brand evolution of Pikachu. High-chew.
We made the same joke yesterday.
We need armies. We have the forces here. We reasonably would be able to call on the forces of the church again, especially at the dawn of the end of time.
Can we reliably call on the forces of the church if we also have the forces of the hells backing us?
Well, when it is a matter of a fight for existence, I assume so. But the church will likely be the last to join the fight.
Most likely.
We need people who follow our orders. We have them.
I would suppose that probably the forces of hell be the last and least the least visible of our resources.
The strongest tactical decision we can make is to deploy them at the last possible second.
So that the world does not realize what we have done.
More or less so that they understand the caliber of enemy we are up against before they decide they have qualms with what allies they must make at the end of time.
It is still entirely possible that faced with a battle for existence, they still deny the help of devils down to the last sword they have.
Well, that is unfortunate.
I've
But
seen
if they're
humans
all-
fight side by side with people they absolutely hated because there was a third force bigger than both of them that was going to crush them. They were smaller battles, you're right, I haven't fought in a real war. But people backed into a corner will band together if necessary.
The Drow are evidence of this. And they're a common enemy for most of the world. So, smartest thing we can do is gather forces, supposing we are going to fight the Drow. The second smartest thing we can do is instigate. If the Drow attack, your credibility is a lot stronger.
Yeah, we have troops in the Scar violating the treaty.
This is true.
If after Lazar takes the throne, we can make it look like the Drow make an assassination attempt against her, it would play to the idea that the new government is not the one who sent the assassination attempt to the King of Halifax and would lend credence to an alliance.
This is also true.
If we could
What?
stage an attempted assassination against me.
But
Arkbridge has Drow.
it would no.
Why not?
Instigate get more hostility with the
Here's the thing.
The
We're not
hostilities-
actually going to war with the Drow.
No, I know that, but we don't unless we timed it precisely.
And that is what we will do. We have plenty of time between now and then, and other things to preoccupy our time. We have armies we need to gather. We need the forces of Ishianor at our backs. We need the forces of Halifax on our side. There are several others we could call on for help. The escaped slaves of the Underdark are numerous. So are the fire giants in the Caldera, and the storm giants just to their north. Those are great forces indeed. The orcs in the desert. The high elves, if they can be persuaded from their cultural apathy and lethargy.
The wood elves already follow me, somewhat. And there's still a whole kingdom to the east.
I've already had the idea if I present myself as an avatar of Malakar, I can convince the fire giants with enough brute force. storm giants, I have no idea for.
After all of the work that the rest of us have done, and the work that I have done, speaking with Arkbridge, after I prove to the king that we did in fact cement that alliance, we can at least maybe we'll have allies.
We just may be able to gain allies from the plane of water as well.
I have one more thing worth noting. We know of 2 power-hungry noble drow who very well might be of use to us yet.
We do?
We do.
There's constant infighting in the drow houses.
It's almost expected.
I mean, yeah. But who do we know? Is
In
my
this
question.
room presently are 2 of the last 3 extant Amarans.
The
Well, 4, I guess, if you count the dragon.
there's on the same day of the earlier this morning, because God, it's only been one day. Earlier this morning, I decided to check in and verify what my sister was saying, if what my sister was saying about my youngest brother was accurate, and she was wrong. He's working with Duragar. But they have their organization. From what I could glean, it was a dinner, but
I thought Drow and Durgar hated each other.
they do. Oh, trust me, they do.
They super do.
But
Like
The-
a mega hate, bro.
from what I could tell, he's been doing work with an underground railroad of sorts, a sort of resistance movement that helps slaves escape. Drow society.
Into Durgar society.
No,
Just out, I think she means.
just out. These Duragar seem very different from ones that I am acquainted with.
There's always
They
an
are-
exception to the rule.
They were not slave masters, nor were they. They were not typical.
Whatever it is when we come across it.
But-
Rather noble.
I had figured that when we did eventually end up going north, or trying to link up with the underground, with any resistance that might be up there, that would be an excellent person to ask.
Would your brother even remember you? How old was he when you guys got separated? I know you've said it's been years.
12. He would remember my name. He would maybe remember my face, though. Obviously, differences.
Okay.
We could resurrect your brother.
I had planned to do that.
He has forces loyal to him, I'm sure.
It's just a matter of if he would
I
fight with us, not for us.
He is loyal to the Empress. As all Drow at least claim to be.
If I could,
Exceptions.
he's not stupid, despite what my sister said about him. If I could, she kind of looks at the sword which she's put to the side. If I could just show him what we were up against, show him the price. Maybe he'd agree to work together, but I didn't want to put him back where he was. I wanted to offer him a second chance, like the one I got, but we don't have the luck.
A second chance.
We don't. Yes.
We know where most of the temples are, right? There's a perfect place to show him. He'll be right there.
Yes.
And then we'll have your sister as well. She may not listen to you, but she's probably more likely to listen to your brother.
We'll take drow help if we can get it.
Yes, that would be very helpful indeed.
This is a chance to reunite your family.
We're already working with a whole bunch of other forces I'm morally opposed to. Fuck it, why not the drow? It'd be help.
That's the spirit.
Well, the other thing worth considering for the long term is this war, not with the drow, but with the darkness, stands very much to weaken the position of the Empress. If she is aligned with the enemy, I doubt that her peoples will be so willing to go quietly into that good night.
If we... I had some thoughts about that. If we could corner her, if we exposed her corruption, it would be
Scandalous.
it would be liable to cause a schism. And I had more thought, and the final temple, the one that we don't know where it is. Garrett is a planeswalker of some repute, but he would not be welcome in the Empress's palace. Maybe the reason why she is so powerful, and by its own admission, one of the Shadow's allies, is because she's had personal experience.
Perhaps it's entirely possible.
It's somewhere in the drow kingdom.
It would be like, excuse me. It would be one of the best places to hide it, on all that, or a city in the middle of it, some city in the middle of the ocean, or some misbegotten, or some forgotten plane.
It's entirely possible that it is the cause to her rise of power. Who knows how long it's actually been here, pulling strings from its shadows. Garrett could have just gotten here, I don't know, late.
It's possible.
Or right at the perfect time.
It's very
Who knows?
possible.
He arrives precisely when he needs to.
Yeah.
But
So we have ideas for next steps then.
More than we had a few minutes ago.
During some time in all this, we are going to have to make a quick jaunt to the plane of water. I would request your help with that. I loathe the idea of going alone.
oh, you're not going alone.
I take it this would be in regards to the deal you made with the King of Flame.
He wants someone there dead, but I don't think we actually have to kill him. I think potentially, if I play my cards right, and I'm known to be rather convincing, if I can subtly inform the man that there has been God damn it, Amy!
I have been known to be convincing. Yeah, I just duped my friends for months at a time.
If we can subtly inform the man in the plane of water of the dagger that was aimed at his throat, we may be able to levy some support with him.
By what? Offering him a chance of recompense?
Something of the sort. A little bird told me someone in the plane of fire wants you dead. A little birdie might be able to do something about it for the right price. Anonymously, of course.
Wouldn't that kind of, I don't know, piss off the King of Fire?
Not if he doesn't know I did it.
Well, they aren't omnipotent, they're not gods, they're just strong.
I think it would be a pretty logical conclusion, even if I didn't inform the man in the plane of water that someone tried to kill him. I think the first jump in logic he might make would be that the man in the plane of fire ordered it.
Though one might ask, or one might think, that they probably get death threats from each other all the time.
If not straight up assassination attempts.
This is true, but if someone attempted to assassinate the King of Water, that would be the ultimate instigator of the plane of fire. We're about to have someone stage an assassination against me, aren't we?
Let's just stage all sorts of assassinations. Well, not all sorts, but...
So if we can potentially levy some support from the King of Water and deploy them at a similarly late juncture in the war to the devils, since I imagine the forces of the Plane of Fire won't be too keen on fighting alongside them. That might be
Probably
another army.
extinguish each other.
We can see what kind of deal he's willing to offer us, and if he's not willing to play ball with us, the King of Fire gets his blood price.
Install new royalty, try bargaining with them, I guess.
He wants some artifact retrieved from there as well, and then the King of Fire additionally requested that a gate be opened into the material plane from the Plane of Fire.
So a potential third doom.
Yeah, but that's a much slower Doom.
That's
and
a much slower and less powerful Doom.
It's
Yeah.
also not evil. It would just be cataclysmic for the environment.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
it's not quite a doom. But
So
I did make it explicitly
Elemental
clear
energy
to the
happens.
King of Fire that even he can be burned.
Giddy ass.
Even he can be burned by playing with fire, so I don't think he'll be eager to cross me.
So our general plan then is to take out the temples while maneuvering politically with a number of different factions, install you on the throne in time for a possible an attempted assassination attempt by the Drow, who we are going to acquire from Arkbridge to stage it, which will make you look good enough to convince the King of Halifax that Shianor is no longer against their side. We're going to bring in a bunch of people from the Plane of Fire to help fight our war, and then after that, along with possible allies from the Drow, all of the humans, all the Wood Elves, all the High Elves, whoever, probably the Orcs, if we can figure that out, Fire Giants, and all those guys, will bring in all the armies of Hell, and then also the Water Elementals.
Probably the water elementals first, but yeah, you have it about right. One small caveat though, the assassination can't just be apropos of nothing. There should be some kind of important event happening it would take place at, for the most.
Your inauguration.
That's exactly what I was thinking. My coronation ceremony is when I would be a prime target, and it's also when the most eyes would be on me.
It would also be the best bet for the picture to paint, hey, the Drow don't like the new monarch because they're not a puppet.
it would be.
And my father is still alive. He'll vouch for me on the throne.
Your father is the one they probably think tried to kill the king.
Well,
It was a direct seal from the royal family.
it is troublesome.
Lord
That could
Desironi
very-
also didn't seem pleased with the outcome we caused.
That could very well have been my mother, though. She was very unstable, and while she did not deserve the face that people took her at value of, she was still royalty, so her seal would be a royal seal. She was just a very unstable and untrustworthy royal towards
It's
the end.
How are Halifax's relations with the other human kingdoms?
So.
Things work out right and
We're
get everyone to believe that the war is in fact going to be with the Drow, we might be able to convince King Halifax or whoever's on the throne at the period of time, depending on how things unfold, because you know how things go with us. We could probably see if we could win the support of other human kingdoms.
We should try and concentrate on on the strongest allies possible first.
Naturally, but I mean,
Cost taps the sword.
I know.
That's a big one.
I have to figure out how to use it first.
I've been putting it off because I had a plan to try and funnel the souls into automatons. I figured
We know where plenty of metal is.
I figured an army of metal would be quite strong indeed. I also figured that it would.
And we're friends with living furnaces and...
One small question. As we begin amassing these armies, where exactly do we stash them so as not to arouse suspicion?
Keep them in their home until it's time to call for them. Although a metal army is significantly harder to find.
Exactly.
It could be. I mean that. We
Arkbridge.
wouldn't need.
It's almost like we might need some smiths, tinkerers, and miners. I wonder if we've met anybody. Oh wait, the orcs are miners, and Arkbridge are legendary tinkerers. We just lied.
So we need the orcs, and we already have Arkbridge's support in some form.
Your friend Necrus, much though that I loathe to admit it, her mildly unsavory nature is probably best put to use here. The rest of Arkbridge might raise some concerns and suspicions.
And that cost is why I decided to work with her.
Right.
See, we're both hypocrites now.
So,
I'm not a hypocrite. I hate necromancers, but she is our best option.
so we have much to gain from going to Ishionor, but we can't quite go there yet.
We also
Not
have
only do we have the vault you had mentioned, we also have my inauguration
And assassination attempt.
and assassination attempt. We should also at least do some looking into how we might get a gate going there, but that doesn't have to happen immediately.
There's also the fire giants, and the reason that we could take care of it approximately the same time, as long as I have the armor of Malakar still in my possession, which is very likely.
let's
That's a fourth.
And then the storm giants slightly to the north of that. If we can figure out a way, we might convince them.
there is the underground, and there is the possibility, and there's whatever forces we might glean from exposing Aelin.
But, as Cora mentioned, we can't quite go there yet. The political dealings of the Norian throne would be difficult to maintain for as long as it takes to not only topple all of the rest of the temples, but also gain all of the other support we would like.
So,
Yes.
I'm gonna Dungeon Master interject because I have a few things I need to say. So, when the session is over, and I'm probably gonna call it short today because I didn't have literally anything other than Lassard
This.
returns to the party. I don't have any combats or anything. I have nothing.
Fair.
But so I'm gonna put in chat when this is over, or maybe send everyone individually. I don't know. What all of the things the party has to go and take care of are.
And also where all of the temples are.
Yeah, we never got that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, but the specific locale is not super important.
Just as long as we know where to go.
Yeah. But I'm going to give you basically a number of points, where you will have to choose how to allocate your time.
We're going to prioritize things, basically.
Right. And when you run out of those points, that will be the end of the world.
That
basically.
will be that's our game plan route, basically.
we
Let's
have
hope we can hit 20 by that point.
So it's going to be a list of armies that you can go and gather. The ones that I can remember off the top of my head, you've got the Efreet, Fire Giants, Storm Giants. You have the Sword of Costs, like turning them into automatons. The Hells. So that's 5 right there. And then you have the temples that you need to go and destroy. There's 6 of those.
And one unknown. Well,
No,
5 and one
there's
unknown.
5 of them and one unknown.
Right.
Yeah, because we already got one.
Yeah.
So the way that's probably going to work out is...
We're going to try to juggle, toppling temples and building armies, I imagine.
Yes, I assume so. I'm sorry if this is too gamified, but this is how I have thought about it, and it would be, there is no way I can convey this other than game design language. I do not know how I could eloquently say hey, you only have so much time, rather than telling you literally this is how much time you have before the end of days.
I mean, this is basically equivalent to how we as party members would plot things out, basically, anyways. We would be prioritizing things to do first.
So
Create a timeline.
the way that this is going to work is that the number of armies you amass is probably going to determine how severe the effects for the world are. Assuming that you guys survive and that the fight ends with Azathoth being dead, the number of armies that you gathered and the strength of that force prevents civilians from dying, prevents catastrophe. If you have too few armies just all together, you might defeat Azathoth, but the world still kind of ends. It's not over, but it's...
It will take millennia for it to recover.
Well,
All of
and
the
not
societies collapse.
not even that. I mean, you would just have...
We've got Earth Destiny.
No, it would be a lot worse than that.
Shit.
It would be like if the Taken just won.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
So there's that, and then destroying the temples
Shit out here looking like the Ringed City.
will make your last couple of fights easier. Like, the more temples you destroy, or topple, or deal with, the easier the final fight will be.
We gotta get more of those handy little sticks from Garrett.
So that's pretty much, that's how it is. You have a choice between, like, making your lives harder and saving millions of lives, or making your lives easier and increasing your chances of beating this guy at all, at the cost of, like, tons of people.
We're gonna have to pick a real fine balance on that one.
There's also, I mean, isn't it also true that that some, I guess the end of the world is coming, and it's either it will be brought by
Ship away it is.
by us destroying the last temple, or it just happening.
It'll probably just be time.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if you went and busted all the temples, like you just eschewed gathering armies at all, yeah, I mean that would probably just be a forced, like, he here now, who he the truffler is here.
Shit, he here to truffle.
Azathoth stays asleep as long as at least one temple is going, right?
Right, but he gathers strength in that time.
He gathers strength while he sleep.
We can leave one for last.
We'll have to consider it. It is probably going to be a delicate balance. We also need to, like, as Cora said, we very badly need to consider, like, what's worthwhile.
I'd wager that it would be more wise to get more armies and then obviously destroy some temples, but we need more people to protect civilians.
Yeah.
So there's something that's still there to rebuild after we kill Azathoth.
I think
we do need to strike a good... you both have points. We need to strike a pretty good balance here as to how many armies we gather and how many temples we destroy, because we're going to have to gather enough armies so that there's a world left to have been saved.
Yeah.
But we're also going to have to make the fight easy enough that we could feasibly actually win, or all of our army gathering will not matter.
Yep.
I also think pretty high on that, like, a list of, like, priorities or, like, armies that we are, like, going to try and get. The armies of the Hells are probably going to be pretty high up there because
That's infinite.
No, well, not only is that infinite, but, like, considering that she's flat out told you this, like, process is not over, like, she is ordained to continue that. That's kind of something that might just come naturally. So that's not necessarily help we, like, guaranteed have, but I think that is help that might be easier to leverage than, say, convincing the King of Water to help us.
Yeah, that one I don't have very high hopes for. I also don't have very high hopes for the Storm Giants, because I have absolutely zero ideas on how we could possibly convince them.
The King of Water, my only fallback is my Silver Tongue, but as I said, if he doesn't feel like doing it, he did already ask me, like, the King of Fire already asked me to kill him, so...
The way I see it is this. Probably our best options. We already have Arcbridge mostly in the bag. We've been doing a lot of work with that. But we have made major steps with the Kingdom of Halifax. We, of course, have everyone in Allhome in Sunstone Keep.
Boltjohn, his men.
Boltjohn, his men. We have the Sword of Kos. I just need to work. That just needs time.
Yeah.
I think a very good thing that would be good. Yes.
Good. We
good
can
thing
do
would be
good.
Is if we went to the Safek Temple in Ashianor, find out how souls work, and then we could work on something with making the automatons, and also find a way to make more resources for Arcbridge to actually make weapons and stuff for everyone that we'd be equipping.
I don't really know how we would convince the orcs to get on our side, because we were allied with the person who tried to obliterate their society and who has now been exiled and may or may not be dead, as far as they're concerned at any rate. They are dead officially, but their leader knows otherwise. The man, the myth, the legend himself watched her walk out.
So I don't really know how well they're going to take
I have
on
an
it.
idea.
Forgot that meme.
What's our idea?
Orcs don't fucking like drow. That's my idea.
I mean, other than that, I have nothing.
They
Orcs
also
don't-
have been struggling to broker a trade agreement with humans.
Well, yeah. How about there? How about that then? There you go. So what we do is we.
Another major barrier for their trade agreement isn't just racism; it's storm giants.
Yeah.
They are in the way.
So we deal.
So we can try taking care of storm giants
So-
for them.
We deal with the storm giants. We
It's like the Ifrit and the fire giants again. 2.
yeah. So we deal with the storm giants. We work with the king. We work with the king of Halifax. Like, I'm guessing once we prove that we're not lying about Arkbridge, that's gonna earn us some pretty serious favor.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Especially
Let's
considering
leave-
he just saved his fucking life.
leave the Ifrit question be. We can't.
That
That
will
is
come in.
not.
That will come in time with
Yeah.
the assassination attempt to prove that the Drow are definitely not working with the Ifrit, and that whoever was on the throne of the Ifrit was doing it bad.
Yes.
But now it's not because it's a different lady.
Yeah. So, we deal with cloud giants, with storm giants rather. You know, we work with the king of Halifax. The orcs become grateful to us because we make them like we legitimize their trade routes. Our price is metal, metal and labor. I continue to work with Arkbridge. I imagine that my project probably would not. It would be something that they'd be interested in, not just for academic curiosity. They'd probably want like the automatons too, which
We can give them after everything's all said and done, as long as any of them
will
survive.
not.
I know I'm not doing that.
We are
We can
not
promise it to 'em.
slaves.
I'm not promising to them. I'm not going to screw them over.
They can have the technology on how to
They
make
have
them.
Yeah, they have the technology on how to make them. That
We have the technology.
will be good enough.
We have the technology.
So
Well, that
our
didn't work.
first
It all
order
comes back to the
our first order of business, I believe, Safik Temple.
Yeah.
More information about souls.
Would we rather not visit the Safik Temple when we already go to Ishianor anyways, considering it's nearby, relatively speaking?
It's in the caldera somewhere, we know. It might be in the city itself, it might be somewhere else. We don't have a definitive location on the ball.
It's not within the city itself. Amy said that much.
Did she?
It's very close by, like it's within like 100 miles, but it is not in the city.
Okay.
But
It
think-
is suspended over a pool of lava.
like I think it's probably
Lava.
best.
Lava.
It's probably best we.
Lorvar.
So 2 options.
Larva.
We go to the temple.
Temple.
I guess the Safik Temple rather.
The vault.
The vault. Thank you.
Temple.
It's also worth considering something that everyone's forgotten so far. There are other Chronomancer vaults around.
There are.
You just have absolutely no idea where any of them are.
That might be a bad lead to chase right now, considering we don't know where any of them are.
I have one more conversation with Sir Galahad before he's gone forever. I'm gonna ask him about. I will ask him about it.
He already told you he didn't know where they are.
That version of him didn't. Not the one in the vault with the rocket and the hell portal.
Either way, I need to use the restroom.
Okay.
And hey, actually, I just thought of something. Fun magic item to make. Something that would extend the chronal disturbance, like finding abilities of the sand shifter. That would probably point us at the temple, at Chronomancer vaults pretty well.
Probably.
Probably. You were saying, Amy?
I need to use the restroom. I'm probably gonna cut the recording here.
There's one last thing I want to say, but it's not something we need to follow. It's just something she's gonna go do.
Go for it.
As the conversation is wrapping up and it seems like things are coming to a close, Lysara says, "One last thing, Castor.
What?
If I'm to enlist the assistance of fiends and devils, I should trust that you can stay your axe long enough for them to help us, yes?"
I'm a man of conviction, not idiocy. wouldn't fell my own army.
Caster's sitting out here just trying not to shit his own pants in a rage.
That's good.
You don't. Before you ask, you don't have to worry about me either.
I have something I'm gonna go practice then. Far away.
As long as you don't burn anything down or incriminate the party, I have at it.
Lasara
That's why I'm
goes
going far away.
and practices challenge pissing.
If you can piss
Home of
straight up-
challenge pissing!
You
If
can
you can
piss
piss
straight
6
up
feet
in-
straight up and not get wet, you get 0 down!
I also have one more thing because I want to say it.
Exceptionally difficult.
It would be after everyone left the room. Cora would catch up with Caster. I'm sorry.
You trust me, Cora.
Yeah. I wanted to figure out a way to solve it before I ever came to you about it.
It's a good
I
thing
figured-
Sarah didn't ask that question.
I figured that. I also figured.
Sorry, knew the answer.
I also figured that. It's funny. I was coming to talk to you about it when the ring dissolved. I was going to ask what you knew about undead, because it's not typical vampirism. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
Why didn't you come to me about it first?
Because I didn't know it was this bad until recently.
Did you not know what it was at all? Did you have no idea?
I thought it was just some mania that had gripped me from the temple. I didn't realize it was a need. Until the Fae.
How long have you had the teeth?
That's very recent. As I said, the Fae encounter.
Did you just not trust that I wouldn't know what to do? Or that I couldn't stay my axe?
I didn't think that you would kill me, Caster.
I didn't want to stain my reputation with my friend.
Can't relate. I was pretty sure Caster was gonna fucking fight me.
I didn't think that you would kill me, Caster. I was trying to find a way. I was trying to find the. I don't know.
You didn't think I wouldn't have an answer. My entire thing is finding, slaying, or curing undead. Preferably slaying, because they're undead. I wouldn't to you, though. You know why? You're my friend. And we need you.
It's the same
You're a
reason you
valuable
didn't kill
asset,
Lasara.
and you've been nothing but good to the rest of us. It's the only reason I haven't taken Lasara's head. It's the reason I didn't take it the moment I saw her. She's valuable, and I care about you. All of you.
Likewise.
We'll discuss this later.
Okay. I imagine you have thinking to do.
Thank you for understanding.
No.
Caster goes.
As Lasara walks out, notably, like, you see the two pairs of wings that she has, like, folded to her back, kind of like flutter, and she says to herself, "Really gotten to use these."
And all of us can fly. And all you need is a pair of wings.
I mean, I have them when I need them.
Right, but it's not like actual wings.
You have to cast fly.
Or draw the sword.
Yeah, true.
So I don't necessarily know that it's something that's going to need to be role-played, Amy, unless one of them decides to follow me and see what I'm doing, but I'll
Yeah.
message you what she goes off and does.
I'm guessing you're gonna go summon some demons.
I'm...
Well, devils, but
Cass wants
Nice
to follow
almost
you.
shaggy voice.
Cass will want to follow you.
She didn't say you couldn't, she just didn't invite you.
I know.
You guys remember
But
how I
then
printed
again,
that big boy?
Yeah.
Poldronius!
Big boy. More big boys?
More big
Poldronius!
Woo!
there's gonna be
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.